to go long because we're a little too far in premium up here. Preferably we wait for 10 a.m. to look for a reversal or retracement. Now, since we do have 8:30 news, we could have used that as the true open, but so that means like we saw yesterday, silver bullet hour sometimes can be a little poor. We can take a look at 10:50 macro as well. 10:30 yesterday was a little bit cleaner than I thought it would be. That was our lowest entry in this market maker model. Then 10:50 obviously trade up into this range too, but I'm not expecting that today. We just gotta watch and see. I didn't look at the weekly chart up here. If you take a look at TGIF, that would be this range right here. So basically back into the daily sibi. But the fact that we closed above it, I don't think TGIF is going to play out this week. Let me actually type that in predictions as well. Oops, daily sibi. Yeah, so I don't think we're going to come back and close into here. Using it as inversion is expected, especially as we reach up for the buy side. So we can just look at that as a reversal. So we're trading up here, respecting the bullish order block and the IFVG. I'd mark this out. This is your CPI gap over here, filled up with only candle bodies. So if we drag that over and lay it on top, you can see we basically perfectly use it as inversion here on the 15-minute chart. Traded through it, clicked all the way, came back, right back into this bullish order block range down here. If we switch to higher time frame, you'll see it right in there, right? Morning. So we'll just wait. I mean, if preferably we do sweep this out. I don't know if we're going to get a reversal though. We do have this gap, obviously, but on ES, let's actually take a look at ES. Yes, we're super close to that high. That's this dotted line. If we were to run that out, you would need to see a higher time frame change in state. Whenever you have a higher time frame buy side or sell side pool that you're looking at, don't look for, I mean, you can, but I would say wait for a 5-minute change in state, even a 3-minute change in state. If you're looking at the 1 minute and trying to eye down like a 15-minute level and you're waiting for a 1 minute, sometimes you can get juked out. Like if you go over here to 11:15 from yesterday, obviously you do have a 1 minute change in state, but you have one here technically too, right? You have one here too. So there's multiple different points you could be looking at for change in state. But if you just look at the 5-minute and 15, very obvious last down closing candle coming up, trading in that support right there. And then we shoot off of it. So that would be your proper reversal I'd be looking at. Plus we're also in lunch hours, so it's not even that important. Hold on, I'm responding to someone really quick. Watch this 1 minute bisi right here. Yeah, so macro time in 2 minutes. I don't want to go long all the way up in premium here, targeting this buy side. It is 20 points away, but like we saw yesterday, you could have just, if you wanted to go long right at 9:30, we bounced right off the rejection block. So someone asked yesterday if I could do a rejection block video. To be honest, it's not something that I use all that often in tape reading or even in my models. Um, the only way I use rejection blocks is when we're trading up into a range and we have a larger wick. 50% of it can be a target sometimes for a partial, but I don't really use it as a reversal point. I more tape read the actual candles printing. So if we see a 1 minute change in state after we bounce off a rejection block, that's more of something that I would use. No audio, or is it just me? I hope it's just him. Everyone good on audio? Sweet. Thank you. RTH gap already basically filled there with 930 run. Tiny portion left, but I don't think that's big of enough a draw. I'd be more focused on the sell side down here. Do have also relative equal lows from yesterday's PM session. That's also something to look at. It also ran out multiple times, so maybe not. So here's your macro time. We're going to be waiting for 10 o'clock, or I am at least. If you want to go short, you need to see disrespect of this bisi trade all the way through the order block. Now we don't have any gaps in here, so expect some speed if we want to trade back lower. But preferably, like if this 15-minute closes here, you want to see this left open as a breakaway gap. So we shouldn't trade back into this range, preferably. So ES still hasn't ran out their buy side yet. Tiny bisi in there. And you can see we're only like 3 points, still 5 points away. So I guess that is the minimum, but when I'm scalping, I think that's mostly the same for everyone. Like when you're in a scalping position or a scalping mindset, you're always going to be wanting to target at least a little bit more than your actual, TP. So your TP is 20 points. Preferably for me, I want a drawn liquidity that's at least 25, 30 points away. Just so if I had a second partial, I want to run it a little bit further. That would be preferred. Or, in case it wants to reverse, at maybe say if I'd take profit at 30 points. That's where the sell side's residing, like here. So like here. So say saw a breaking structure here, fill the gap, and then we wanted to take profit at the sell side. If it dips 20 points, I'll be very comfortable moving stop either into break even or into profit, because that 20 points is already like the first partial, right? So if price was to come back up against me after it ran 20 points and stop me out in a loss, that would, for me, that would just feel sucky. Like I just wouldn't want to be trading the rest of the day, or you take something stupid. So if you have a threshold where it crosses a certain point percentage or distance to the take profit, like if it's 75% towards the profit, meaning like, we're 75 pips away from 100 pip take profit, your stop loss really should be, in my opinion, in break even or even further up to like 50%. The best way to trail your stop loss in a larger position or a larger run, in demo, obviously, is to watch the PD arrays. So if you have a large, like if we're taking a short up here, targeting the sell side, you'd be watching as price breaks down, respects the bearish PD arrays, and forms new ones. Meaning, if we trade back lower, form a gap, fill the gap, trade back lower again, that order block range should hold. That bisi should hold since it's rebalanced. And then say there's another gap in here. That's 3 PD arrays, right? So you could trail your stop up to here. Then once that one's filled, trade back lower, then you can trail it up to here, right? Or if there's a breakaway gap that you really think should be left open, say we formed a consolidation zone, traded back lower, left a breakaway gap. If you really wanted to, you could chill your stop to the premium of the breakaway gap. I wouldn't do that. For me, I don't do that in the beginning of the position. Like you saw yesterday, we got very, very close to being stopped out, like within a couple points, I think. So this was a short, very poor entry, to be honest. And then we got the 10 a.m. run up, the retracement, and I think the stop was up here, something like that. So very close to being stopped out. And as soon as you see that run lower, you don't want to jam your stop loss to break even. Preferably, I want to see displacement away, form some sort of breakaway gap, and then I can trail my stop. Problem with trailing stops too early is then you don't give your position any room to breathe. So if it wants to come back, retrace into the gap that you just took an entry off of, maybe it's filling the gap all the way, then it becomes, you could get stopped out, price runs away from you, and you're like, okay, I don't know why I just trailed it. So I guess that threshold is like, if it runs 10 points to take profit, 15 points, for me, then I'll feel comfortable trimming it. That doesn't mean moving it all the way to break even, but trimming it, maybe less in a losing area. So we're tracing off of a 2-minute gap. Nope, 4-minute gap right in there. In hindsight, could have waited longer to enter on that yesterday trade or no? Yeah, for sure. Could have waited for the 10 a.m. run up right in here. I just didn't know, like on this 951, I just didn't know if we were going to leave this unfilled because we had an inversion gap over here that we were trading into, and we had this old selling point. So both of these points made it seem to me in the short term. See, we're tapped up into it, and then we started trading back lower. So that to me is like, okay, we're probably going to start running away quickly. That's why I just entered quickly off a market. But yeah, we could have waited for another retracement to 3-minute or even the 10 a.m. retracement there. All right, so now watch how we dipped a little bit further down. Still not liking anything long here. Sticking to the 10 a.m. Watch how this potentially is used as inversion if you want to flip. Also have a tiny bearish order block range in there. Not in discount yet. Right, didn't cross that 50% line. And this 15-minute gap preferably is left open, at least until the buy side's hit. All right, so we're holding it so far. Move this one. This up closing range, these two candles. Holding it, right? Don't believe we have 10 a.m. news. Oh. Oh, yeah, this guy speaking. Kashkari. All right, so 10 a.m. Fed speech is kind of, that'll bring about volatility sometimes. It also can bring about a lot of chop during silver bullet hour. So if we see volatility brought in, like this to me kind of looks like a 10 a.m. news driver, right? Where we have a dealing range that's already formed, we're tracing to discount, and then we fly off. That's really common during a 10 a.m. news driver. Not as common when we have 8:30 and 10 a.m. news. So I'm just kind of watching this. It's still hard to read. Like, I don't know if we're going to reach for buy side or if we're actually reversing. So there's a tap into discount. We didn't form the 15-minute gap like I told you we wanted to see if you want to remain bullish. And zoom out here. There's your 5-minute order block tap. 4-minute gap as well. ES failed to run their buy side as well. So right up here, we got within a couple points. It is pretty weird. And like this kind of rejection off a lot. And we're respecting bearish PD raise too. Original consolidation down here. I'd be looking for this gap. You dumping off too. So I don't like the fact that we're holding these bearish PD raise. Here's 10 a.m. You can see we're not retracing or reversing at 10 a.m. Like there's no clear gap. We're just selling off here. Case in point where I don't want to go long this far into premium. Even though we got macro time, even though we have bisi, even though we have buy side, more than 20 points away. It's not optimal to go long in these positions, right? So watch the sell side. Move this now. See a lot of volatility brought in there right at the Fed chair speech. Okay, so watch for obviously this inversion gap again, but we do have a breaker in here, internal range breaker. So I'm watching this kind of large chunk of old selling. Obviously the sell side too, and the larger gap below us on 15-minute gap here. I mean, preferably you want to see a retracement leg into short-term premium, back up into this range, maybe wick it, IO Fed, something like that, and then come back down. Or even this tiny gap here with the old selling. Very aggressive move though. RTH gap probably fully closed. Yep. Fully closed the RTH gap. So if you have that marked out, you can probably remove it now. Tiny portion here we're bouncing off of. Looking back and forth. Filled it now. Watch for dump at the sell side. No entry given. Obviously we did get this order block respect, but I wouldn't take that as a short. Just because even though we're respecting 2 PD rays, with the buy side this close, we could just been dipping further into a 4-minute gap and then, you know, trading back higher. So don't feel like you missed anything because I don't see this as either a long or a short. I think this is just, we're just tape reading right now. Obviously gaps here forming. I'm gonna remove this IFG. ES dumping off too. No 5-minute breaker. Like this accelerated run, you want to see retracement preferably into premium market maker model. Didn't retrace all the way. Still think we're heading for buy side. Yeah, I do think it's a little weird we left the relative equal highs, especially on ES. I don't think, like, if you look at ES really quickly on the 15-minute chart, high, high, high. So retail's going to see that as really, really strong resistance, right? Maybe on the hourly chart. We're tracing into an hourly order block range, I guess. So yeah, maybe just a healthy retracement. I agree. That's why I don't like taking shorts here either. Like it would just be into this gap. I don't know if we're going to run down for the sell side, especially since we already purged it here. These are the smooth edges. These are the jagged ones. I guess if you take this entire dealing range here, we're back into discount. I do think though that this retracement is a little further than you'd want to see. Like if we dipped into this gap, that would be in discount of this dealing range, plus the order block, and then we trade it back up. Running for the TGIF level. Yeah, we're close to it now. Preferably though, I did want to see this range, this sibi on the daily hold, especially since we closed above it. I want to see it hold this inversion. I don't think we're ever going to close below it, especially if we want to keep reaching for the buy side. NQ, whoops. But then again, it's hard to tell because we are trading into a weekly gap in here. So we're like bouncing between two PD arrays on the weekly. TGIF is it's a range on the weekly candle. So if you take your weekly high and low, it typically only applies on Friday. But on Friday morning, if you take your high and low that forms, or even before the New York session, and you measure out 20 and 30%, you get this range. Like something like this. So you get this range in here from weekly high to low. You can extend that out to the right, and sometimes during the close on Friday, or even during the AM session, price will return into that range. So if we have a large candle, this is typically the best setup for TGIF. We can either close within this range or tap into it during the AM and PM session. So it's kind of just it's not always going to be a rule that plays out, but just a framework sometimes for different weeks. So trace back up to the old selling into the gaps now. I still just don't like going short. If we fill this gap in premium, like the element of time is missing too. We didn't even run up the sell side. So element of time is not there. We still have buy set up here too. So the only reason I think I would go short in these next, oh, it's only 2 minutes left in the macro. Yeah, I don't like this macro at all. We're just going to wait. Yeah, it's very sketchy either way. Like if we were to look for shorts, you need to see this gap filled, a change in state on the 1 minute after the gap, and then maybe look for shorts. But like shorting this gap, I don't think is wise. Because if we're shooting up aggressively through it, so. Yep. Price failing, price failing both on NQ and ES to reach for that 15-minute imbalance. Yeah, that being left open as breakaway too. And tap into that hourly order block range too. Order block with the bisi in there. So if we were to properly use this, I'd like to see it used as inversion. So we trade buying and selling all the way through it. And then once we close above, tap into it, maybe into the order block range that's formed. Then we trade back up. I told you this morning, we're not going to see probably as clean as we saw yesterday. Just going to be sitting on my hands waiting for these macros. If there's no entry that's clear in the macro time, there's no point of forcing anything. You can see we're prioritizing this bullish bisi over the sibi right now, even though we're in premium. I do think we can return into this range in here too. Bouncing off the discount in there. How's your week gone trading wise? Pretty solid. Yesterday we killed it. Even pre CPI it wasn't terrible. So Wednesday, Thursday, I think were the two best days for me. Monday, I don't think I took a trade. Tuesday, we just kind of tape read. So I think it's pretty solid. That's how I'm comfortable with not taking any trades today. Already met the weekly goal, I think. How was everyone else? I know some people caught some moves yesterday. That 1050 macro yesterday was sweet too. Took trades on Tuesday and Wednesday. Nice. Oh, just a slight 5.5%. You know, could have gotten 10%. A small portion. Yeah. Good stuff though. Love it. Yesterday was solid for me. Yeah, yesterday was just beautiful. Everything, price and time lined up there. This consolidation here is because we were at 50% of the range. Would you wait for either side to be taken? Um, I'm gonna wait for time first of all. So I don't care if buy side or sell side gets purged here. Even if if we're wrong in our bias, the buy side isn't purged, and we touch sell side here. I'm not gonna still be taking anything. We're gonna wait for time to do the heavy lifting. But yeah, preferably, um, if we want to go short, we'd be looking for a continuation to further sell side targets, even this bisi. But this larger gap is going to cause high resistance. Buy side, obviously, if that's purged, we're going to be looking for the daily buy side up here. Also caught the 850 macro today. I didn't even look at that. Just standard continuation up. Got lucky, my stop loss barely missed. Gotta get better at stop loss management. Yeah, mine yesterday barely got missed too. Maybe like 3 points or something. But that was because my entry was so poor. I had to retrace up. And it was just like, I guess that was expected though. Expecting the 5-minute BPR and ES. Oh yeah, right in here. So BPR right in there. We also trade into premium. I told you if you want to look short, you want to see the CISD from this range, which we didn't get a CISD, didn't get internal range buy side sweep either. So this is efficiently delivered now. So look for speed into this sell side point and the gap. Actually, I'll just remove this into this gap here. I still don't see that as a good short, even though we obviously trade into premium, fill the gap, tap into the breaker. I don't really think that's a setup I would take. Have y'all seen the 8:30 macro that sweeps early morning liquidity from 6:30 and 8? It's gas. ICT shows it in his execution videos. I have not. 8:30 macro just meaning the news release, or is there a time window? Like 8:20 to 8:40? Liquidity from 6:30 to 8. Or is there a specific execution video that he has done? I want to watch that. Oh, I see. Yeah, I've been using that news driver, or not the news driver, the economic calendar more and more. Just trying to learn the different nuances and how to use true open. Really, really underrated for indices. Like using 8:30 purge and then 10 a.m. news as an entry point towards untapped liquidity, or even the 9:30 injection of volatility. All that different stuff. Like once you get comfortable with it, the economic calendar will show you which setup you're expected to take for the day. Short that at 16,993. Stop loss at 17, right at the top. Nice. It's working, but still not sure it's going to 16,940. I think it should. I'd find it weird if we bounced off this all the way. Watch ups. Watching that 1 minute gap in there. Be a nice, what, like 40-ish points? 47 points. Watch this BPR too. Cyclic back ES. So they got a larger gap here. Now, preferably you don't want to see this all the way filled. You may return back into it, but I don't want to see it all the way up to here because then we probably will run into the BPR again. Oh, sweet. I'll watch that later today. Yeah, so just watching those execution videos from the past. Like I was watching a couple. I mean, obviously the one he posted, what, 2 days ago or sometime this week, and even the previous ones. You see stuff that you didn't see before. Like there's so many different tiny things that he's watching, or like how he manages to stop. That's a really good thing to study. Like how ICT manages his stop. You can watch all those execution videos, and there's still something you're gonna learn. Like why did he jam it there? And price will go all the way to the tick and miss it and then fly off. That's the most impressive thing to me, knowing exactly where he wants to be out. Traded up into that range. We're looking good so far. See, told you didn't want to see that filled all the way. Just wicked into it there. Order block range in here too. So I should see speed now. Still feel like the suggestion to do a backtesting session like an ICT execution was a good idea. I'm down to do it. We could do it tomorrow, actually. Supposed to do a backtesting stream tomorrow too, right? So here, I'll do a poll. Obviously, if you have other questions, we can still cover those. But yeah, we can just look at that. Let me run the poll right now. Tomorrow is Saturday, so you can look at, by the way, this order block is being respected. Look for speed. Here you go. And come on. I think that should be that target, right? Whoever took that trade. Did that for myself recently. Is eye-opening. Yeah, even just as nice. Good stuff. Take profit. Even as there's your full run back into the bisi. Yeah, even as just like confirmation of something you're trying to learn new. If you have a theory of what price is expected to do or something you want to try in terms of stop loss placement or take profit, even relative to time, he he'll put it in those execution videos, but just um won't say anything on the chart. It's just it's there for you to learn, which is most of what he teaches about time, right? He teaches a lot about price, the stuff about time, the little nuances like 10 a.m. retracement reversal, or even the economic calendar, how to use that, how to find where the news drivers are going to go. Um, that's very helpful if you just look at his old executions. W's. Nice. Oh, right into the gap. Perfect. Caught 100 ticks from that. Nice. Yeah, right outside the macro time for me. If this was right at 10 a.m., this retracement at 10 a.m., that'd be perfect. But all good. Up $600. Nice. Love to see it. Do you think it's going to 16,900? The sell side. Do you have relative equal lows there? Or even you're talking about the discount of this. It's hard to tell. Like I'm still on the fence of what we're gonna do. Like we bouncing off this daily sibi now. Yeah, we are free to go to buy side. Just up that sell side. Dipped into this. And if you look at the 4 hour really quickly. Oh, we didn't even close above it. Never mind. Yes, already hit his TGIF. Oh, only one of the sisters needs to do it for it to count. Learn something new every day. Did not know that. Bouncing off the 1 hour bisi. Slight SMT there too. So up the sell side liquidity gets deep into 15-minute fair value gap and go higher. Yeah, let's see it. We do have an order block range in here, plus the fair value gap. Let's see. I want to see a 1 minute change in state as well down here. You can kind of see the fractal market maker buy model in here. If you're looking at this as original consolidation, this tiny portion, go to like a 15-second chart, you can probably see it. Let me see if I actually pull it up over here. Or even this as original consolidation, right? Original consolidation, low risk, or even low risk in here. First stage, second stage, sell side. So two different consolidation points I'm looking at. This is really the main one I'm watching. Especially with the relative equal highs on ES. I'll send this picture to predictions chat quickly. Still holding the order block. Oh, I actually didn't look. I told you yesterday bonds was at 101. Curious to see actually if we got any volatility. Oh, we did. Where is it? Right in here. Not as much as I thought it would be, but yeah, it's like nothing to be honest. So if you wanted to see a reversal, this range in here should be used as a breaker. So if we climb and close above it, tap into it. Do also have a tiny inversion gap in here too. This gap being left open, you could treat this as a breakaway, right? If we were to trade through it, preferably you don't want to see breakaways left or like treated a lot as resistance. It's like this gap in here, right? Consolidation zone, left it, that's your first gap. It's your true breakaway. When price was to trade back up to there, and we fly away from it, you don't see a lot of retracements off breakaway gaps. When we do another stream together, I'm down for whenever. We could do, if you're free tomorrow, we could do it tomorrow in the backtesting stream, and then we could look at all of the execution videos or even any other stuff that people are interested in. Let me actually start the poll. I started it and I didn't finish. Or sometime next week. Anytime next week works too. So we'll do 9:30. This is for the poll. We can do 10:30. Actually, we'll do, yeah, 9:30, 11 a.m. Actually, there's no point in we don't gotta wake up that early. We'll do 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and we'll do a couple in the PM session. So 6 p.m. and then maybe 8 p.m. How does that sound? Let me just put these in really quick. All right, so take a look at the poll chat and then just place your vote if you can make it. Obviously, we can do it Sunday too if that works best. I'll close the poll out tonight, so you have all night to look at that. So we can look at old execution videos. Let me know what time. Yeah, so any time tomorrow works. If you want to join that, we can do that stream. Or if you want to do a joint stream next week. I think I should be free every day except maybe Thursday. The backtesting stream will be recorded just like the rest of them. So if I don't post it public on YouTube, they're still going to be unlisted in the live stream recording section. So if you miss it, it'll still be there. Yeah, so that time is in EST. So if you're on the other side of the globe, you can convert your time, but there's some in the AM session for EST and PM session. So you can vote on different times too. So if there's multiple times that works for you, you can click all of them if you want. I don't see a lot of continuation to the sell side, or am I wrong? I think I would agree with you, especially since we got this protraction here. Go to the 15-minute really quickly. We got this protraction here in the morning session, 6:45, where we swept out London low and PM low and dug into a discount PD array. So I don't think this sell side will be attacked today. If we were to kind of just chop around TGIF range, we could, but I still think we're going to head for the buy side. Isn't it Snowmageddon tomorrow? Is it already started? It's supposed to start today, at least for me. We're supposed to get like 8 or 9 inches of snow throughout the day. So I might be stuck here. I'm supposed to go to the store. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to go to the store. North Carolina never gets real snow. We just get ice. Yeah, that's going to be tough. Is it all over the East Coast? I didn't even look. It's supposed to be like in Michigan, it's classified as a complete winter storm. And all the roads are supposed to be icy and snowy. So I wonder if all those states are going to be a mess. This is like the first time it's snowing this entire winter, though. It is kind of weird. Okay, sweet. Yeah, just let me know. So you can see we're just still kind of chopping around these last 20 minutes or so. I'm still watching this up closing range. I'm waiting to see if we can close above it. We did form slight CISD here. This closes as order block, maybe a long is in play. Yeah, this one too, right? So we have the breaker, bullish order block too, if we can close above. Right at 1032. Could be a nice setup. Always have a hard time flipping buy, so I thought for sure we'd have gone for the buy side. I mean, still, yeah, you mean up here? I feel like just having a strict line in the sand of it could be far, right? Like if we were to pierce this low, for me, that would be like a blatant sign. I just use the 3 PD ray rule. It doesn't have to be a strict, bullish PD rays. It could be bearish ones too. We're looking at, like, if we're disrespecting bullish PD rays, you could use 3. And we respected 3 bearish PD rays. That's typically a good sign that we want to continue in that other direction. But it's obviously staying flexible. Like, don't ever marry your bias, is what people will say. If you continue to stick to that bias, you're going to see every single down closing candle as a potential order block, right? And we could just be reaching for sell side, but you can see this as a retracement. You're going to see this as a continuation. It's going to be rough. Even yesterday, flipping bias, a little difficult there because we wanted to see that high pierced with the SMT that we formed right up here. But then we saw the bearish move here, trade back down past the breaker, respecting old selling. So that's 3 PD rays broken on this side and 3 PD rays holding on the right side too. Then we felt comfortable going short. All right, so we closed above there, holding it as this bullish order block. We also have this range in here I want to see used as a breaker. So a couple different things there. We're also within time. We have original consolidation. We could be targeting up here. AM high, right? Let me send a screenshot quickly to predictions chat. Tiny imbalance right in here too. I'm going to trim this. So it's still a larger imbalance on the 1 minute. Like these ranges in here could cause high resistance. So if we trade up through it, we could just see chop back and forth as it continues to fill it. Close above, speed up to here, then maybe acceleration. If you form a breakaway gap here, and so here's your gap, lines up with the breaker, that'd be a potential unicorn setup. I'm watching this gap right here too. You can retrace off of it, or even if we close above, use it as inversion.
Order filled. Order submitted.
What's the buy set up here? 17057.
Order submitted.
All right, so we're respecting a little bit of it. Obviously, this wick, you're not going to trim it there because this wick is inefficient. So you want to see efficient price delivery. If we can fill this both buying and selling, you can see it's wicking back and forth. So that still is efficient, right? If you see this on a lower time frame, it's going to be buying and selling back and forth. So you can see that it's filling. So if we see still up closing candles in that range, but it's just taking longer than usual, I would still classify that as efficient. So if we close above it, watch the version. This potentially is a breakaway as well. So watch this. That's 3 PD rates. We should not really close below. I don't want to really see it close below 50% of this breaker for really bullish. Actually, could measure time fib here. If you measure it there, 2 standard deviations up to here. This is pushing it, but just curious. Symmetrical price swing, so we're bouncing off the bisi. Tap into the breaker there as well. May actually return into short-term discount.
Cancelled.
There's your short-term discount run. And into the order block too. So bullish order block, inversion order block, and the bisi. So preferably we don't actually want to see it trade all the way past this at all.
Order filled. Order submitted.
So within macro time still,
Submitted.
I'd feel comfortable going long here, especially if we can get respect off that. I just don't like the fact that we're trading through. I want to see it trade all the way through this gap here. Just kind of watching it. So we held it once. Got a 2-minute order block there too. That lines up.
Order submitted.
So now watch this down closing range. If we close above it, that should be used as a propulsion block. So if we close above it and we tap into it again, we should see quick speed off there. Only problem is this gap is unfilled too. Should we see speed now? This is efficiently delivered, right? So maybe up to here, this discount end. But it's hard to tell. And with all these gaps up here, it's definitely, I'm not liking it. Like it looks clean, but it's, yeah, ES is not. You want to see this bullish order block hold too. We're dipping a little bit into mean threshold there. Not the speed you want to see, right? Like if you want to see a true unicorn setup, we want to see just quick reaction off that bisi and the
Order filled.
order block, and then we fly off that. Because you're trading a little bit way further than I'd like to see
Cancelled.
past the order block there. With the higher time frames, yeah, nothing really. DXY, I also want to see it trade lower, and we're DXY trading up here. So, and it's definitely low probability. Let me send that to your predictions chat too. So low probability set up here. $962.5. Yeah, right up into here. Oh, I see. Right into if you're using this daily range. Just barely missed it. But I don't like us trading preferably back into discount here. Obviously, it would be a discount run back up to premium, but with 3 repeated rays lining up like that, we're trading into basically the last one. I don't want to see hold price. We're breaking into mean threshold there, but if you look at ES, definitely weaker. Like we're almost at we're trading way further than you want to see. You have an unfilled portion of the bisi here, but I guess within discount there. Yeah, see. And NQ slamming all the way through it. So definitely not what you want to see. RIP. I guess that's expected though, right? With the 8:30 true open. 10 a.m. maybe, silver blood hour maybe rough. That's why I got a stop loss though, right? So you got stopped out. It is what it is. Don't try and re-enter without time. So 10:50, I guess you'd be looking at, but even then, I'm not going to push it today. Next week, I think we have a news-filled week, which is what you want to see. Let me take a double check. See. Oh, Monday's a bank holiday. Nice. So Monday, Tuesday is going to be pretty low probability, probably. We do have high impact news at 8:30 on Tuesday. High impact news, and Wednesday looks like a nice one. Wednesday probably will be a clean setup. Even Thursday looks like a clean setup. Friday we have 10 a.m. news. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week is probably going to be the best days. Monday obviously no stream. It's a bank holiday. I'll make sure to send that out again. Monday no stream. Tuesday I'll check the price action in the morning, and we'll see if you want to stream off that. But days following bank holidays typically are not the best. We're still just kind of chopping around here, right at 50% of the 15-minute daily range. I'm favoring buy side. We don't have any clear displacement away yet. Sell side run to me looks unfavorable. So all in all, I'm not going to take anything for 1050 macro unless we get displacement here in the next 10 minutes all the way up past this range. Nice retracement trade off of midnight open. Do you guys use midnight open a lot? I feel like it's something that I just don't use all that often, besides looking at pre-market. Use it every day for bias. True day. Might start using a little bit more. I do like to mark up the 9:30 or the 8:30 open. Yeah, for Forex, I feel like it makes a little bit more sense, like marking out those kills on open times. Indices, I just don't use it as much, but maybe I'm missing out on something. Five-minute displacement through it tells me the direction. Oh, I see. Through the midnight. I see. Okay. Same with 8:30 and 9:30. Yeah, I use that a lot. 8:30 open and 9:30 open, depending on the true day. Like if we have a 9:30, if we have no 8:30 news, I'll use the 9:30 open. If we have 8:30 news, we'll use that as true open or session open. I guess hindsight, market maker sell model, but that's very tough to see. And then as we dip into here now, I'm probably going to get a retracement off this too now. So not expecting anything here for 1050. Just unfortunate with the price action. Obviously nice short up here. I guess right at the end of the macro time, but not anything to my liking. I know some people took it. Good stuff though. We'll probably end the stream there. So if you didn't already, before we leave, if you can, vote for the poll in the chat. We'll look at it tomorrow. We'll run it all the way till tonight. So don't feel like you have to answer right now. But if you can, back to stream tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll do it Monday or Sunday. No stream Monday unless we do back to stream. Tuesday, we'll still think about it. I'll send this all out into the daily bias. But rest of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday should be pretty clean. So if you decide to trade rest of the day, use proper risk management. Don't do anything dumb. And I will see you guys sometime next week or tomorrow. Peace.